In this video, you will learn how to use distributive property in algebra. Welcome to another video. If this is your first time here and you want to master topics on algebra, start right now by subscribing and clicking on the bell so you don't miss anything. Before we have a look at distributive property, let's have a look at this example, which is 2 times grouped 10 plus 4. So we can work this question out in two ways. One, we can work out what's in the brackets and then multiply by the 2, or we can distribute a copy of the 2 to each individual in the group. In other words, we can use the distributive property. The thing to remember is that in algebra, we normally use the distributive property because algebra always contains unknown values, and the distributive property works the best when it comes to unknown values. Now, let's have a look at this example, which is 5 times grouped x plus 2. So with this example, what we are going to do is that since we can't add what's inside the brackets, we can't work out what's inside the brackets because we have x plus 2. And the x is an unknown value, so therefore we don't know what x is, which means we can't simplify the group first. Instead, we're going to use the distributive property, which means we're going to first multiply the 5 to the x, which means 5 times x will give us 5x. And if you guys are wondering why we are multiplying, well, the question is 5 times x plus 2. So 5 times brackets x plus 2, so therefore we're going to multiply the 5 to each individual group in the bracket. 5 times x will give us 5x, and then next thing is 5 times 2, and 5 times 2 will give us 10. So therefore we get 5x plus 10. Now, an important pattern we need to know in distributive property is A grouped b plus c equals AB plus AC. So what this pattern basically says is that A times B plus C is the same as, so this is the same as A times B plus A times C. And you guys may wonder why we're saying times, because we're multiplying, and you guys may wonder where is the multiplication. Well, if you notice between the A and the group, there is no sign between them. And because there's no arithmetic sign between them, it's automatically considered to be multiplication, because multiplication is the default operation. Another thing to remember with this pattern is that this pattern can also work with subtraction. The one thing this pattern does not work with is multiplication and division. So let's move on to an example such as 8 group x plus z plus n. Let's start by distributing this 8 to each one of the individuals in the group. First, we distribute the 8 to the x. 8 times x will give us 8x. And then distribute the 8 to the z. We get 8 times z, which will give us 8z. And then finally, distribute the 8 to the n. And then 8 times n will give you 8n, which means we get an answer of 8x plus 8z plus 8n. So let's have a look at another example, such as 9 group a plus y plus 6. First, distribute the 9 to the a, so we get 9 times a, which is 9a. And then we're going to distribute this 9 to the y. 9 times y will give us 9y. And then finally, the 9 to the 6. And then 9 times 6 will give us 54. We get an answer of 9a plus 9y plus 54. The next example we're going to have a look at is n brackets z plus y plus 4. Distribute the n to the z, which means we get nz. And then obviously distribute the n to the y, which means we'll get ny. And then finally distribute the n to the 4. Now, when we're doing n times 4, some of you may think the answer is n4, but in algebra we always put the number in front of the variable. So that means 9 times 4 will give us 4n, because we have to put the number in front of the variable, not the variable. And this example we have, it's obviously very simple. It is 6 brackets a plus b. Now with this example, as you guys can see, this is very simple. We first distribute the 6 to the a, which gives us 6a. And then we do 6 to the b, which means you get 6b. So we get 6a plus 6b as the answer. Now, some of you may wonder how this question works, because we have 3 brackets 2a minus 4z, or 3 times brackets 2a minus 4z. Because we said before that distributive property does not work with multiplication. And here we have 2a and 4z. And 2a and 4z are basically the same as 2 times a, and 4z is the same as 4 times z. So this question might be a bit different and a bit difficult, but a thing to remember in this is that the terms are being subtracted. Despite the terms being multiplied together, well, the terms themselves are being subtracted. But when you get to a question like this, you distribute the 3 to the whole of 2a and then the 4z. So 3 times 2a will give us 6a. And obviously 3 times 4z will give us 12z, which means we get an answer of 6a minus 12z. The next example we have is z brackets y plus z squared minus 2. In this example, we're going to start off by multiplying the z to the y, or distributing the z to the y. We get zy, then we're going to distribute the z to the z squared. So we know that z squared is basically z times z, and we are multiplying this to a z. We're doing z squared times a z squared, which means we're multiplying 3 z's. And z times z times z will give you z cubed. So therefore we get z cubed so far, and finally you distribute the z to the 2. And when you do that, you're going to get 2z. Remember, you get 2z because you have to put the number in front of the variable. Now to learn more on algebra, click the video on the right. And to learn the previous topic, click the video on the left. So take your pick. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next time.